Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Roll Up Varsity. This is Connor.
It's your boy Sticks.
Sticks, welcome back, man. Another great episode, obviously on deck. It's all we pump out is good stuff.
Yes, sir.
But before we get into that, man, what'd you get into this weekend? Even though I already know, but let's let the listeners know what we got into this weekend.
We actually got to spend this weekend together, a rare occasion. We were at FNL watching some of the top prospects in the nation that the Florida Gators are recruiting. Some competing and some just visiting. I got to see my boy Connor, so Varsity had a presence there. A lot of top guys were out there. You had Will Norman, Desmond Ricks from the 2024 class. Dijon was out there. Trayon was out there. A lot of top guys were out there. I could ask you what you were doing this weekend. I know too, but chime in. Tell me how your weekend went.
Yeah, man. Leading up to FNL, it was a little rough, man. I was actually in the ER Friday morning from 1 o'clock till 4 a.m.
How did I not know
Um,
about this?
yeah, bro, I kind of played it off, but
Low
yeah, I had
key.
a pretty bad allergic reaction to something. Was in the ER for about 3 hours.
Damn.
Got about 3 hours of sleep. Went into work. Got off work at about 12 o'clock. Came home, relaxed for about an hour, and then headed straight up to Gainesville. So
Yeah, that's rough. So Varsity get the scoop before me. I get it. I get it. I understand
yeah,
that.
man. But we were pretty busy this weekend, obviously up and back in Gainesville. So keeping it very busy, but it was good stuff. But we've got our guest in here ready to go.
Yeah,
So
yes,
hey,
sir.
let's jump straight to it, man.
Let's do it.
So joining the varsity crew right now is three-star running back Seth Davis from Katy, Texas. Seth, welcome, man. Thank you for joining us. It's good to have you on, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
This guy's all set, ready to go, set
I
up,
was
and
gonna say
everything.
he has the most
This is definitely
official
the most
setup.
professional setup we've had on this show so far. So hey, you're starting it
Definitely.
off great, man. Appreciate you. But yeah, man. So obviously we've been working trying to get you on here for a little while. You said you wanted to kind of take a step away from interviews and all that stuff after you made your commitment to Mississippi State. Um, so you've been committed for a little while now. How's it feel to kind of have that recruiting process out of the way, be committed to your college of your choice, and kind of put all on the back burner and focus on high school football?
Yeah, it's great. Now I know where my future is going, but now I just get to focus on my team and just help around, and then I'm ready for this season to start.
Definitely, and it's funny because we scheduled you so far out ahead before I think we even had an inaugural episode, and I DM'd you how it ended up benefiting you because our platform's grown so much since then. So it ended up working out, and then we needed somebody this weekend, and I mean this weekend, you plugged in perfectly. So
There,
the first question I really wanted to get in and ask you is what went into your commitment in choosing Mississippi State.
just like right when I stepped on the campus, it was just all love. All the whole staff showed me love, the coaches, everything, and then also like just the atmosphere. Everything was just great. They have very good fan support, and so that was really something I wanted to be a part of.
That's awesome, man. So, Mississippi State SEC football.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody kind of grows up knowing that the SEC is kind of the prime time of college football. So, what does it mean to be able to play at the highest level, being somebody from Katy, Texas?
Oh, it's great. Texas, we already play. Like we have a lot of competition, so I'm already ready for the SEC. And then just a lot of people watch it, so I just know this is gonna be great to compete in.
Yeah, being in Texas, I know that they put high school football on a pretty big platform. I constantly talk about it on the show how you guys' high school stadiums are like college stadiums. So, do you feel being from the state of Texas help you prepare for the SEC and next level?
Yep, yeah. Texas football stadiums everywhere. The football is the main sport, and so I just love it. And yeah, that's really gonna prepare me.
Yeah, you can't drive through the state of Texas without driving by a huge football stadium. So, but Katie's got a great program in itself, man. Obviously, you've been there. You guys have a powerhouse program in the state of Texas. What is it like to play for such a high profile high school? And what's kind of your day-to-day look like? Because obviously you look like you've been hitting the weights, man.
Yeah.
Obviously there's a lot of lifting going on with you guys in the off season.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's great playing for Coach Joseph. He's been a great coach for the past years, won a lot of state championships. Like 6 a.m. and then we run plays, do our position stuff. Then we go to the weight room. We lift. Like we either bench, a squat, or power clean. And after that, we do like conditioning, 100s, 150s, and then footwork stuff.
So they got you in a nice routine there when it comes to working out and drilling through. So now that you're committed, are you somebody that ends up deciding to take visits elsewhere, or do you have anything scheduled?
No, I'm already locked in. I just can't wait.
Set it
I'm
down.
go to the games during the fall and take my official visit, and then yeah.
Has anybody tried to get you to still come on visits? Are there people still trying to work on your commitment? Because I know a lot of schools don't just give up when somebody commits.
Yeah. They would kept on coming, and I just told them that I'm locked in. So now they stop.
Drop some names. I need some tea, man. I need some tea. Who is still trying? Who's still trying that you had to turn down?
I can't do that.
No, I got you.
So, man, obviously SEC Media Days just happened. Coach Leach is an interesting individual. Everybody knows him as kind of this quirky guy around college football. What is it like to meet him in person? And what's his personality like? Because we only get to see what's on TV. So you get to see what's behind the scenes. What is his personality like?
Yeah, the same on TV is how he's in real life. He's just a funny guy, laid back, chill, and then he's just a great coach too.
So Coach Leach is usually known for passing the ball. What has he told you to feel confident to go over there as a running back?
He said he's just gonna try to get me in space. He said, "Why would you be running into dudes when like you can just go in space and then do what?" He says he loves the way I play. So if you put me in space, I'm gonna go make a touchdown.
So obviously you're a versatile back. You can do a little bit of everything. Obviously, being able to play it in an air raid style offense, you have to be able to catch the ball well. What would you say is probably the strongest part of your game? And then also, what is it that you're trying to work on the most when you're going up to your senior season?
Really, my strongest part of the game is my ability to make people miss and all that stuff. And then also, I'm just trying to work on. So I already know I'm coming from Katy. We run the ball a lot, so I know when I would get to Mississippi State, I'm gonna have to like catch. So I've been working on that this summer, just trying to get ready.
Any kind of receiver drills or anything like that you're going through in the offseason to kind of prepare yourself for the next level?
Yeah, I worked with Sky's the Limit receiver. He like Coach Margin Hooks. He just helped me a lot to learn how to catch and the routes and footwork and all that.
I say Coach Hooks is a very well-respected trainer out in Texas. I know the name really well, so it seems like you're in good hands out there for sure.
Yes, sir.
And then last year, I believe you had either 23 or 28 touchdowns. I'm not remembering right now. What are some of your goals coming forward this season? What are you trying to do?
Like at least 35 touchdowns. I could have had more touchdowns, but I'm try to hit 35 this year, and then try to rush for 3,000 yards for my last year.
Yeah, that's some big goals right there. And then I mean, it's probably because you're trying to end up improving each season as you have so far. So you had an amazing season last season. So those goals is definitely improving, and definitely some tough ones too. So I'm gonna be tuned in, locked in, trying to see how you do with that.
Yes, sir.
So outside of football, you do a little bit of track as well. What do you think track has helped you out besides just the typical like I want to get faster? What has track done to help you out for football?
Uh, yeah, it definitely conditions you. With the amount of stuff you do at practice, helps you get in shape, and also like your form. Like that's something we work on in track practice all the time. So it just helps with your form, and then like everyone knows, your speed gets better.
So you guys went 14-1 last year as a team. Made it all the way. What, state championship or
No, the game before the state, we
state
lost.
Final Fours to Westlake.
Yep.
Westlake's a powerhouse program. Obviously, the goal is always state championship at the high school level.
Yep.
What have you guys done? Because Westlake's a national power. They're really, really well coached. What's kind of been your team's mindset going into this next season to try and avenge that loss and make it all the way to the state championship this year?
Yeah, that loss, that's something that we keep in our mind all the time to motivate us. So, like, in the offseason, we was all working hard. Everyone we could see in the weight room, we just everyone hitting the weights, everyone working hard. We all had leadership together and just ready for next season.
And you were the 6A MVP last year, correct?
Oh yeah, my sophomore year I was.
Okay, yeah. So that you trying to double back on that?
Yeah, let's say state championship. Yeah, we coming this year.
Yeah, definitely. So what are some things that you're doing to end up trying to make that come to fruition?
Just working hard all the time at leading my team, and then after doing more than everyone else is doing, that's something I'm really doing.
So going into that senior year, you're obviously becoming a veteran leader of a team. You're very, very highly respected nationally. So obviously your teammates are going to respect you. But have you had any kind of I don't want to say issues, but any kind of trepidation about being a team leader, or does that come naturally to you, or how does that work for you?
Oh yeah, it just comes naturally. My team, they really respect me because I've been like I've been on the varsity long, so they really respect me and just listen to me.
And then me personally, and then me and Connor, we do this show a lot of times to give exposure to kids, and a lot of times, especially kids like you, that I believe is underranked, where they have you listed as a 3-star. I personally think you deserve to be ranked above
Yeah,
that. I think you're a 4-star for sure.
yes sir.
And when they go watching you coming into the season, I think they'll end up seeing that. Do you think that, because you're 5'7", I believe, do you think that goes into them kind of selling you short your size?
Yeah, probably that's my most likely reason because some of the schools don't look at me because of my size, but I don't even worry about that. I just run, play hard.
Which is crazy to me because running back is a position you don't have to be that tall for. You got to get low anyway. So, I mean, I don't know why people should cut you out for that, but I definitely think that goes into why people are sleeping on you. But for me, I'm definitely aware, my boy.
Yes sir.
So 247 has you listed at 5'7", 170. Is that accurate, or you're a little bigger than that now? I'll say the arms make it look a lot bigger.
Yeah, 75. They always like messing my height, 5'7", 5'8". So
Okay.
I just 5'8" is what that's
5'8". Okay, that's awesome, man. But yeah, so I mean, Curtis kind of talked about it. We like to make sure that we get you guys on here, give you an opportunity to talk frankly, and give you guys a platform. And to with that comes questions that are sometimes a little off the wall. So we like to ask a couple different things. But first one, man, outside of your high school schedule, obviously you have an individual training regimen.
Mm-hmm.
What over the summer when you're not like doing your high school stuff, what does a normal day in the life of Seth Davis look like?
Just I either go work out with a dude named KB. He's my running back trainer. He really gets us right. And then Fridays, Wednesdays, Sunday, I work out with BME. It's a group team, and we go work sand. We do like footwork in the sand and all that. Run the hill. So those are my Fridays and Saturday. And if I'm not doing none of that, I'm either on my game, just chilling.
What games you be playing?
I play Madden, Fortnite, and that's it really.
Sticking with football. You don't get on Call of Duty?
Nah, not really. I play Fortnite more than Call of Duty.
All right.
What system you use? You an Xbox guy or a PlayStation guy?
Yeah, Xbox.
Oh no, man!
Oh
I was gonna say
no,
this is important, man. This
no!
is
I was
important.
gonna say we gotta get on the sticks real quick.
Yeah.
I'm a PlayStation guy, so
All day.
man.
Even Taylor's in the chat saying, "Oh no, he said, hell no." And Maker, and that, hey man, maybe that's why they underrated on you. You're an Xbox player, dog. That's what it is.
The graphics, everything.
Hey, I can respect
definitely.
it. I can respect it.
And then usually the first question we ask, but I jumped the gun asking you about your commitment. I'm so excited to have you on here. For people who don't know you, because like I said, this is a platform that we like underrated players, not players that known to be really get exposure. Let them know about you. Tell them about you, Seth Davis.
Oh yeah, I'm a real humble player. Like I'm not gonna be over there bragging on Twitter, talking about how much offers I had. I just leave it, and I'm thankful to God because He blessed me a lot. So then, and also I'm just a nice, respectful kid. I listen and I respect everyone.
From the beginning, when we first reached out to you, I could sense that from the very get go that's
Yeah,
how you were, and then you come up here professional. I'm telling you, it's the most professional setup we've seen when it comes to the interview. So it's a
yeah,
shout out to you.
yes, sir.
Yeah,
Appreciate
man. I mean, Seth was willing to come on when I think we had like 30 followers or 40 followers,
We had
man. So
we had barely any
we had
followers.
nothing on there. So we appreciate you taking a shot on us, man. And it ended up working out well because we've got our platform up a little bit more. But you can definitely tell that respect, man. Every message is super respectful.
it.
Obviously, we really appreciate you joining us, man. But I want to ask you a question that we ask everybody that comes on here. On Friday nights, you're getting ready to get yourself in the zone for the game. You got your headphones on. Give me 3 songs you're listening to before the game.
Oh, it's Lil Baby. I listen to Lil Baby a lot. That's my main favorite rapper. I listen to Goes On, and then Young Boy. I forgot what I listen to a whole bunch of Young Boy songs, so I can't like think of the names. And then also Lil Uzi. I listen to Lil Uzi. I can't name songs. I just know the rapper. That's all I know.
Young boy get you ready to take some heads off for real. That's why he breaking off 20 plus touchdowns. That's crazy. And then him taking a shot on us ended up paying off because, like you said, we probably had like 30 followers when you agreed to come on. And it's basically like an investment that he had when he said, hey, August 2nd would be the day, because now we're up to 700. So it ended up working out in your favor for real.
Yeah, that August 2nd timeline worked out perfectly, man. But obviously we try to be non-biased on this stuff. Obviously we want to appeal to everybody. You're a Michigan State commit, or not Michigan State, I'm sorry, Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
My mistake. What for those Mississippi State fans that aren't too familiar with you, or just people in general, what is the message that you would have to those people, like your impact that you want to make when you get to Starkville?
Oh, I'm gonna be a huge part of the team. I'm a very good back that's gonna help you score. So yeah, the offense is a big part of Mississippi State. So I'm just gonna be a help to the offense, and then we're gonna win a lot of games.
Definitely see that. Definitely see that. And then like Connor was saying, when it comes to the next level, and you're talking about unbiased, that's how we are on here. We're trying to get our platforms to go on to across from state of Florida, which is where we both reside, coming into Mississippi State. So when this drops, we need you to really hype it up, man.
Yeah,
We need you to really hype it up.
that's
Tell
fair.
Mississippi fans to tap in and listen to the true you, because what we try and do here is really have a chill, relaxed podcast so that you could just be yourself. It's not, yes sir, no sir, just talk. It's more like barbershop talk, you know what I'm saying? Like if you get in the cut and you just chopping it up.
Yeah, right.
Well, Curtis, I think I've asked all the questions I have, man. If you're good, Seth, we really appreciate you joining us, man.
Yeah,
Always a pleasure. Like I said, we appreciate you having such a professional setup, being having everything ready to go, and giving us the opportunity when we really didn't have much going on for us. So we're truly forever grateful for that, man, and we'll definitely remember having you on for a long time.
yes, sir. Yeah.
So the last question we like to ask every person we have on, we close out every episode with a song. So give us something that your favorite song right now, or something like that we can close out the episode with, man.
All right, I like right now probably "Humble" by Lil Baby.
That's a great song. That's a great
Yeah,
song.
that's a nice choice. I'm always up for Lil Baby. So
Always
for
like Lil
sure.
Baby. Seth, man, we really appreciate you. Looking forward to seeing what you do at Mississippi State, man. We're going to be following you your senior year. Hope you guys get that state championship, and we're expecting that 3,000 yards and 35 touchdowns, sir.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
I'm
Thank you,
locked
Seth.
in. I'm locked
Appreciate
in.
you, man.
I'm holding you to it too. I'm
Yeah,
locked in.
I got you.
For
We're going to
sure.
keep
For
tapping
sure.
in with you.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, my boy.
All right.
Definitely.
Man,
Hey, that was a professional setup. You see
great
that?
setup, man. Great interview. Real professional, real respectful kid. Just a
Yeah.
great setup. This man had a seat and everything.
Yeah, I'm
Got the
telling you.
backdrop. Hey, he
Nah,
was
that's
doing
what's
it. He
up.
was doing it right, man.
Nah, I mean,
Um,
from the DMs, our interactions, I could already tell the way he would be, and great kid. And honestly, like I said, I think the size of him is the only knock to him for rankings wise. But I never seen size as an important thing for a running back when it comes to height. So
no,
you got to get low, anyways. Imagine how hard it is for a taller linebacker to go and tackle him. You got to get
yeah,
low.
I agree with you. I know. I first heard of him when Florida offered him, like a
Right,
year and a half ago or so, and I watched his tape.
right.
Obviously, the 5'7" portion is it's inconsequential, to be
Right.
honest with you.
How tall was Maurice
Um,
Jones-Drew?
5'6", I think.
And he's a legend. He's
Yeah,
great.
exactly. So I was a big fan when I first cut on the tape of him, and I think he's going to do great things at Mississippi State. Really looking forward to seeing what he does his senior year, because Katy has a powerhouse program. And I was looking through their schedule before we hopped on the episode tonight. They went 14-1, but I think the first 13 games they won by like 21 points or more.
That's
Like they were
crazy.
just blowing teams out. So looking forward to seeing what he does his senior year, and obviously we'll be tapping in with him and making sure he stays up with that 3,000 yards and 35 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean that's a powerhouse school, and then Mississippi State got a good one when it comes to him locking it in. He's talking about schools are still reaching out to him. He's telling them no, which a lot of kids don't do. You know, kids sometimes shut it down, but they still entertain schools and still go on visits. So they
Absolutely.
got a good one there.
But let's jump back into the episode, man.
Do it.
Obviously we got Seth in here early, so it's
Yeah,
good.
that was refreshing. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
man.
Having an interview first. I'm not burnt out or nothing.
Yeah,
I
we're
feel
good to
ready to
go now.
go.
Let's keep it moving. But before we get into everything, I'm obviously shout out our sponsor, Sativa Doll. So this episode of Roll Up Varsity is brought to you by Sativa Doll. Sativa Doll is a veteran-owned company that offers 3 different products: CBD soft gels for you and your pets, and a roll-on for pain relief. The soft gels come from a trusted source that manages the product from seed to sell, and are often recommended as a part of your regular wellness routine by medical professionals. The roll-on's formulated by pharmacists for quick, effective cooling relief. So if you guys want to support us, please continue to go support Sativa Doll. Go to sativadol.com. Use promo code Varsity25 for 25% off your order. Rate them 5 stars. Rate us 5 stars. We want to continue to keep bringing you guys great content, and we can do that by getting good reviews, good ratings. So please both rate us and Sativa Doll 5 stars when you go to sativadol.com, Varsity25 for 25% off your order.
Yes, sir. Let's get it. Y'all show love to the podcast just like we show love to y'all. Varsity 25. Y'all go out there and spend some money. Let me get into these top schools. It's actually a short list for top schools, which is more because kids are really already have released their top schools or already shut it down. So let's get into some of these, and then we'll knock away some commitments, get y'all updated. Let's start off with a 5-star number 4 wide receiver, Shelton Sampson. He's narrowed his list down to 4 schools. That's LSU, Alabama, FSU, and A&M. And he set a commitment date 4 days from our recording date, which is August 2nd. And he set his date for August 6th. So we'll be locked in there. That's a big name, a great wide receiver prospect. And then going on to the 2024 4-star cornerback, Omilo Agard, I think. St. Joseph's Prep School out in Pennsylvania. He's down to 10 schools, cutting a list down to 10 schools for 2024 kids. Always huge, big decision. Cutting it down to Alabama, Michigan, Georgia, Notre Dame, Clemson, Penn State, Texas A&M, Miami, Tennessee, and South Carolina. So we have that there. Great powerhouse options that he has going over there. And then we're going to go over to the 4-star running back, Dylan Edwards. He didn't actually knock down to top schools. He was committed before to Kansas State, so I believe that's why he didn't really go into the top schools. And he just set a commitment date, also the same date as Shelton Sampson, for August 6th. And he's a standout former future 50 prospect down at IMG. He decommitted, like I said earlier, from Kansas State. So, and now he actually has an offer from Notre Dame, which, in my opinion, let's do one of those predictions. Is who I think ends up landing him. And Notre Dame's been nothing short of amazing on the recruiting trail, so I wouldn't be surprised there if they end up landing Dylan.
Yeah, absolutely. One of those kids that was one of those big time performers at Future 50, decommitted from Kansas State shortly after getting that Notre Dame offer. Writing kind of seems on the wall there. But Notre Dame's done a great job of recruiting speed backs like that. A couple years ago, they got a guy named Chris Tyree, who's on campus now, was a 4.35 kid, and Edwards is another 4.3 kid. But yeah, let's move over to commitments. So we're gonna start this off by letting you guys know that our predictions were correct last week. If you listened to
This
our
where y'all
episode,
come for the juice. This where y'all come.
if you guys listened into our episode, obviously 5-star number 1 safety Caleb Downs and 4-star defensive lineman Wilkie Denaud committed to the schools that we said they were, with Downs going to Alabama and Denaud going to Auburn. 100%, still shooting 100% here on Roll Up Varsity. But then we'll get moving on, man. Alabama got really busy on the recruiting trail this week, landing obviously the aforementioned Downs, but also landing 5-star number 2 running back Richard Young, 4-star defensive lineman Hunter Osborne, and flipping 4-star number 9 tight end Ty Lockwood from Ohio State. Alabama now holds the number 1 ranked class in the country, according to 247 Composite. They've made a huge jump as of late, obviously flexing their recruiting muscle, which we knew Saban was going to do eventually.
I mean, yeah, and he seems to have a vengeance from losing in the national championship last year. He's came back with a huge vengeance. And Richard Young going there with them already having a top running back committed is something big that, and it's a hard thing to pitch, but if anybody could do it, it's Alabama and Nick Saban.
Absolutely. 2 top 3 running backs in that class with Richard Young and Justice Haynes. Just an unbelievable class getting started up for Alabama, and doesn't look like they're anywhere close to done yet. And then Florida, big time week this week. Landed 4 commitments within a 3-day stretch, all from 4-star prospects. The first being from cornerback Jakeem Jackson from Osceola High School on Thursday. Next, the top 100 prospect and number 13 wide receiver Aiden Mizell from my hometown of Orlando, Florida, on Friday. Actually 3 of these kids from the Orlando area this week, with Jackson, Mizell, and then Jordan Castell from West Orange High School, a safety. And then Curtis, you and I's probably favorite prospect to talk about on this podcast, 4-star wide receiver Andy Jean from Miami Northwestern announced his commitment to Florida on Saturday, who we have both been very vocal about him being probably the most underrated prospect in the country. I can tell you from my perspective, I think he's the number 1 wide receiver in the state of Florida, as well as a top 100 prospect in the country. Could be pushing a top 50 prospect in the country, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's something that we've talked about consistently when we bring up his name, is how underrated he is. They still have him rated in the 300s nationally, which I can't comprehend. And another person we bring up a lot is Arch Manning. So the 2 that be brought up the most is him and Arch. And for me, the most overrated to the most underrated. So I feel like that's why we bring him up a lot.
Oh, yeah. But Florida made a big jump in the class rankings from 23rd to now being ranked 12th in the country nationally.
One of the hottest teams on the trail right now is Florida.
Yes, sir. And speaking of hot teams on the trail, my hometown UCF Knights in Orlando had a good week as well. They landed a top 100 prospect in number 11 defensive lineman John Walker, 4-star cornerback Braden Marshall from Lake Mary High School, and the nation's number 1 kicker Grant Reddick from Boone High School. Boone well represented on tonight's episode. Got to shout out my wife's alma mater a little bit. She graduated from Boone High School here in Orlando, so got to show her school a little bit of love.
No,
go ahead, man.
Sorry to cut you off, man.
No, you're good.
On the topic of UCF, don't be surprised if they don't continue hot on the trail. I actually believe that they do flip a wide receiver for the University of Florida by the name of Tyree Patterson, so they would continue hot on the trail.
Yeah, they're Gus Malzahn's done a great job since he's taken over with that program. I think they could flip a couple wide receivers, actually, both from in-state schools from the Big 3. I think they have a chance to flip Goldie Lawrence from Florida State as well as Tyree Patterson from Florida. And then they're working hard on another Polk County prospect in Jeremiah Anglin, who's announcing his commitment on August 6th. So they're doing a really good job recruiting right now, and they look to be hitting their stride. But we'll move over to South Carolina, who also landed 3 commitments over the weekend, 2 of them being 4 stars, with number 5 interior offensive lineman Marquis Anderson and defensive lineman Monteek Rains. And then finishing it up with 3-star offensive tackle Jatavius Shivers. Ole Miss also secured 3 commitments, 2 of them being 4-star edge prospects in Neo Avery and Jamarius Brown. And then the third being a 3-star tight end and former UCF commit, Javante Connor. Ole Miss is doing. They started off really slow recruiting wise. Lane Kiffin's never really been known as a powerhouse recruiter, but this week was good for them. My guy KB over there, Kelvin Bolden, who was at Florida and then UCF, and now he's at Ole Miss, is making some noise out there. So always happy to see my guy KB succeed. And then we'll move over to the individual commitments. Those were kind of the teams that loaded up, but the number 1 linebacker in the country, we've talked about him on the show here before, top 15 player Anthony Hill from Ryan High School in Denton, Texas, decided to make a commitment to the Aggies, committing to Texas A&M over Texas. They also landed 5-star athlete Dalton Brooks from Shiner, Texas. Brooks is a top 75 player in the country, had over 20 offers on the table for him. Curtis, this list is getting kind of long, man. You want to take over from here?
Yeah, I got you. And then you said Ole Miss started off slow. Another team that started off slow and ended up doing something this past week was Texas A&M. Was really behind on the trail, which we mentioned, I believe, last episode. So for them to come out and then shut me up is real good, which I said they would, but it's real nice to see. And we'll knock this list down a little bit. Coming over to the 4-star number 4 linebacker in the nation, top 100 prospect Malik Bryant. He's out of Jones High School in Orlando, Florida. Central Florida still representing there. Used to be at IMG. End up going over to Jones for his senior season. He's committed to Miami over Florida, Alabama, USC, and UCF. Then we're going to go over to the 4-star, number 13 defensive lineman, Derrick LeBlanc. Again, Central Florida, representing Osceola High School in Kissimmee, Florida. He's committed to Oklahoma over Florida and Penn State. The Sooners also landed the number 19 edge in Colton Vasek from Westlake High School in Austin, Texas this week as well. And then going over to the 4-star offensive tackle, Stanton Ramil. He's from Thompson High School in Alabaster, Alabama. He's committed to Michigan State, which he had more than 30 offers in Michigan State, even though Mel over there, defensive guy, he's done a real good job on the offensive side of the ball recruiting as well. And then we're going to go over to the 4-star offensive tackle, Evan Link. He's from Gonzaga, Washington. Gonzaga in Washington, D.C. He's committed to Michigan over 20 other offers. So he doesn't mind playing in the cold, clearly. Now we'll go over to the 4-star defensive lineman, Terence Green, which listed Miami and Florida in his top 4 schools. And he's decided to commit to Oregon over Miami, Florida, Michigan State, and Texas, I believe. Which, honestly, I didn't know who he was before the commitment, but apparently Miami and Florida was in contact with him. So great get over there by Oregon for Terence Green out of Cy-Woods High School in Cypress, Texas. And then we're going to go over to the 4-star linebacker, Grant Godfrey. He's out of North Gwinnett High School in Georgia. He's committed to Kentucky over nearly 30 offers. Kentucky's been somebody that I think has been very underrated on a recruiting trail, where they're more methodical when it comes to evaluations. So they might not get the 4-star guy that everybody wants, but a 3-star guy that everybody slept on. I think they're continuing to do that here in this cycle as well.
You see that sorry, Curtis. You see that a lot with Kentucky, man, where you'll see them get in early on a 3-star or a low 4-star guy.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get those powerhouse programs that come in later and try to steal them. I know Florida's done that a couple of times at Kentucky. Alabama did that a few years back as well. Really, just they do a great job. Mark Stoops and his staff do a great job of identifying talent early. And unfortunately, because they do that, other schools see it and then come in and try to steal them away. So it's definitely a testament to their scouting department. But kind of sucks if you're a Kentucky fan to see them identify it all early and then have it snatched away.
Right, and hopefully they have guys that understand that, hey, we're the ones who ended up believing in you, trusting you, actually watching you, recruiting you to be here. and these guys just followed along. So a lot of times that doesn't happen, though. You got a team like Alabama come knocking. I don't care if you came first or last. You're Alabama. You getting a visit. You know what I mean? So, like I said, Kentucky's really good when it comes to being methodical and analyzing kids. So I don't blame other schools for letting them do the hard work and being like, okay, let's offer them now. We'll go over to the 4-star quarterback, Brock Glenn. He's from Memphis, Tennessee. He's committed to Ohio State over LSU, Auburn, TCU, and FSU. And the reason why I held FSU with so much emphasis is because FSU was looking like they were going to be the favorite to land him for a big part of his process. And a lot of people, if you guys are involved in recruiting Twitter, a lot of FSU fans were boasting about how he's coming and how it'd be a horrible miss. And there it is. They were so
There's
sure
your
he was
horrible
locked in.
miss.
And that's what it is. I'm somebody who doesn't, like to brag on somebody until they end up coming, because a team like Ohio State come knocking, Ohio State, FSU, you know what I mean? It
Yeah,
just
man. And the situation behind that whole thing was just wild, because obviously Florida State had Chris Parson committed. They started looking around, flirting with a couple other people, Brock Glenn, namely being the one that they thought they had locked up and pretty much sealed away. And lo and behold, Chris Parson decommits from Florida State because they were looking elsewhere. And now Florida State's left empty-handed with Brock Glenn going to Ohio State. Really a bit of a botched process by Mike Norvell and his staff, man. You
really
had
botched.
a four-star prospect committed that was solid to you and really just recruiting really hard for you, had fully embraced all of the rivalry and the competition, because I remember seeing Chris Parson on the timeline talking about how, I'll never talk to anybody at Florida.
Yeah.
FSU talking about the vintage gear a while back, and how they have to rent it at Florida, and Florida State, they take us to the shop and we buy ours.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. That's
It was
crazy.
a whole thing on the timeline, man. He had fully embraced the rivalry. He had fully embraced the competitiveness. And then they go ahead and try to look and think the grass is a little bit greener on the Brock Glenn side, but end up walking away with nothing. So it's going to be a tough road back to find another quarterback for Mike Norvell and his staff. But quite the debacle on that recruitment. I don't want to single out Florida State and have Florida State fans hate us on this podcast, but
nope.
You got to call it like you see it, man. Call a spade a spade. Is not a great way to handle that recruitment, and
at all.
Hopefully for their sake and for their fans' sake, they can scratch something out and get another quarterback in the class.
Right, and then at one point they thought they were getting both of them. Then it became just Glenn, which they were fine with, and thinking that that the other kid got kicked out. Then now they don't even have Glenn. So you went from 2 quarterbacks to 1 quarterback to no quarterbacks, just like that. And like you said, it's a botched process. They end up going all in on Glenn, and that's what ends up happening there. You get kids that have hard feelings. And especially, like you said, a kid that was so locked in and recruiting kids, and embracing the rivalry, and just to be able to miss out on a kid like that with that culture for a kid that ends up going to a school he preferred anyways. Crazy. But FSU fans, no hard feelings. I mean, last week we shouted you guys out a lot. We actually shout out your offensive line coach a lot because he's doing work on the trail.
Because he's a dog on the trail.
Yeah, he's a dog on a trail. So we big up you guys a lot where it's due, but we're also going to hold you accountable as we do any school, because this is an unbiased platform. All right, so let's get into the 4-star running back, Cameron Cook. He's over at Stony Point High School out of Texas. He's committed to TCU over Texas and California. And then we're going to go to 3-star wide receiver, Yazid Haynes. He's in North Penn High School out of Fort Washington, Pennsylvania. He's flipped his commitment from the Nittany Lions, Penn State University, going over to Georgia, which is a huge flip for Georgia, because to convince a kid that's locked into his hometown school to flip over to you, that's not an easy thing to do, and you have to have the parents agree to it, which a lot of parents don't even want their kids to go out of the state, let alone all the way down to Georgia from Pennsylvania. Then we'll go over to 3-star cornerback Vernon Glover Jr. out of Dixon, Texas. He committed to TCU over nearly 20 other offers. Then we'll go over to the Auburn. Hold on a second. Auburn got their 2024 class started. Sorry, I was reading the outline wrong. Their 2024 class started with commitments, 2 4-star prospects and the quarterback Adrian Post from Columbus High School in Miami and Amon Lane from Moody, Alabama. They're kicking off 2024 strong. Auburn surprised me on the trail with the problems they've had when it came to their head coach this offseason. It looked like at one point he wouldn't even be the coach. So the fact that kids are going in there committing to a guy that's really on the hot seat, because he has to have a pretty good season this season to stick around with all the things thrown at his name, and continuing to recruit well on the trail. And then we'll go over to the 4-star number 7 running back, Isaac Brown out of Homestead, Florida. He's committed to Louisville. Louisville is somebody that's taken the nation by surprise on the recruiting trail. From what I hear, it's a lot of NIL money over there in Louisville.
That Adidas money's long.
Long money with Adidas going over to Louisville. And I hear it's 2 former alumni that's really doing their thing over there. And I mean, to me, that's the only thing to really explain what's going on at Louisville, because I'm baffled, honestly. But they're doing great. Took me by surprise, took most of the nation by surprise. And they continue here with Isaac Brown, the number 7 running back in the nation. And then we'll go over to 4-star defensive lineman, Dylan Evans out of Pine Tree High School in Longview, Texas. He's committed to in-state Texas A&M. Continuing to put my statement last episode to shame, how they're doing bad on the trail. But like I said, I expected them to jump up. It was just real perplexing how they were 6th in their own state in recruiting after being the number 1 team, not just in the nation, but all time when it came to recruiting. Then we're going to make our way to the 4-star safety, CJ Hurd out of Woodward Academy, Atlanta, Georgia. He's committed to FSU over Michigan, Oregon, Florida, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Michigan State. Go ahead, Connor. I know what you're about to say.
You know what I'm about to say on that one.
Go ahead, man.
Man,
Burn some bridges.
It seems to have been a trend as of late, man, where these kids try to troll a school while announcing their commitment. Obviously, we saw it from Ja Jarrett, who did it with the home state North Carolina, before committing to Georgia, and CJ Hurd did the same thing this week, last week, where he announced his top 7. Florida State was not in the top 7. At the start of his commitment graphic, you saw the lightning or however you want to describe it, creating the Florida Gator logo. And then as soon as it hits it, Florida State commitment graphic. So
hey, he better hope that staff is there. That's all I'm saying. He better hope that staff is there.
That's what I'm saying, man. I was like, man, especially if he was even at all considering the University of Florida, after doing something like that, if Florida State's not there. Now, I have spoken to a Varsity alum, Miles Graham, who is his high school teammate.
Yeah.
I spoke to him a little bit. Obviously, Miles is a Florida legacy, and CJ's dream school growing up was Florida State. So I asked him, I was like, so what went on there? He goes, man, I told him not to do it, but he decided to do it anyways. So I asked him a little bit. I was like, hey man, did you have a little bit of a heated rivalry or some spirited debates in the locker room? And he's like, yeah, man, all the time. But it should definitely be interesting to see how that recruitment works out. I'm never opposed to a kid doing things the way they want to do it, man. It's your process. Yep. Enjoy it. Do what you want to do. But you definitely have to be careful when it comes to burning bridges like that, man. Obviously we saw Julian Humphrey do it last year when he committed to Florida. He put the Texas A&M logo in the same style, and then committed to Florida. And it looked like Texas A&M didn't really have much interest in him after that.
That's what happens.
And he's from the state of Texas. So if it works out well for you, that's great. But sometimes it can come back to bite you. So got to be careful with stuff like that as a recruit going through the process.
Right. And then especially like if you're committing to Alabama, you could do something like that because you know for sure the staff is going to be there at Alabama, right? FSU, they haven't had a successful season in years, right? And this coaching staff as a whole is on the hot seat. So, I mean, him growing up an FSU fan, maybe he commits even if I'm the head coach. So, I mean, maybe that's what went into his process. He doesn't care who's there. He has the offer, but hopefully if they do end up leaving that staff and another staff comes in, they recruit him hard so he doesn't regret this decision. But like you said, I don't knock anybody how they want to do it. You want to do that way, but you just got to be careful. You really got to be careful the bridges you burn, especially in state. Well, if you're going to in-state school like Florida State and want to go to Florida or Miami. And then we could go over to the 4-star quarterback, Tyler Oronson. He's from Vero Beach, Florida. He's decided to commit to SMU early on in his process. So that wraps up our commitments. Connor, you got anything to say about it?
No, man. Pony Express, full speed ahead.
Trying to catch up to A&M. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. No, it really just a lot of commitments this last week. And I think we could see a lot more here in the next week or so as well. Obviously, you got a lot of prospects. We've narrowed or talked about Shelton Sampson having his commitment date for August 6th. Obviously, Dylan Edwards had his commitment date for August 6th. But there's a number of prospects that we didn't speak about this week that have commitment dates, and I actually have them here. 4-star safety Jordan Sanford out of Texas has a commitment date for August 4th, which will be the day that this episode drops. Same thing with 4-star outside linebacker Jayden Osberry from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We spoke about him on previous episodes. Darian Gillette, we've spoken about as well, August 5th. Braylon Shelby, another person we've spoken about, August 6th. And then obviously we just spoke about Shelton Sampson, running back Parker Jenkins, August 6th. So the commitments are not slowing down. We're going to have a plethora of commitments to talk about each week. The top schools are kind of dwindling down a little bit. These kids are really starting to get to the point where they're ready to make their decision. But I mean, that typically starts to happen when you get close to football season. A lot of these kids want to get their commitments out of the way, focus on their senior year. And then those that don't do that will typically wait until after the season is over. So I think we could see a slowdown a little bit during the season, but not to worry, guys. We're going to be at plenty of high school games around the area. Going to be going out and seeing. Content. Oh yeah, we're going to be going out seeing some great ones. Actually, the one that I want to pump up a little bit, I'm doing it a little early.
Yeah, we're going to be there.
But we're going to be out at Jones High School for the Jones versus Miami Northwestern game here in Orlando on August 20th. Really excited about that game. Obviously, you've got that in-state rivalry when you have a Miami commit in Malik Bryant, who's from the Orlando area, and then you have a Florida commit in Andy Jean, who's from the Miami area. So should be a great matchup. And I'm really looking forward to that one. But we're going to continue to do stuff like that all year long so that we have plenty of content to give to you guys. And really looking forward to football season coming up, man. I get like a little kid every time August rolls around. You start getting to late August, early September. That's like my Christmas, man. Saturday morning, sitting on the couch watching college football. Friday nights going out to high school games. So that's when I get to really be in my element. Wife doesn't like it very much because we don't get a lot of husband and wife time when that happens. But she has she's been with me long enough. She's very aware of how this works during.
I was gonna say she knew what it was getting into this, man. She knew what it was getting into this.
8 years on the hook now. She's already well aware of how things go during football season. So she's come to understand, and I appreciate her for that thoroughly. But yeah, football season is my happy time for sure.
You need to embrace it. She need to embrace it. Jump on. Hey, does she show interest in it?
She does, yeah. She'll sit there. And, so she doesn't watch. So I'm the kind of person that'll sit in front of my TV all day Saturday, from 12 o'clock till like 10 o'clock at night, and I'll watch football all day. Yeah. She'll watch specific games with me if there's really a big game that I want to watch. She'll sit there and watch it with me. She'll watch games for our favorite team. and really that's pretty much about it. Other than that, she's like, I'm gonna go do my thing, but she'll definitely sit down. But she does like going to the games. She's definitely a lot more involved when she goes to the games. So I'll take her up. We'll go to UCF games here around the Orlando area. Obviously, we'll go up to some Florida games as well.
Right.
And she really enjoys that atmosphere. But when it comes to sitting at home on Saturdays, she'd rather go do her own thing. And I
Right.
get to sit there and put on the TV and just relax.
Hell yeah. Nah, that's for sure. That's a must when it comes to wifey. They got to know what it is getting into it. Saturdays is gonna be a day preoccupied by football. Sundays too. So that weekend really, during football season, it's kind of tied up.
That's why I'm typically just a one game Sunday guy. If I can get the Dolphins on my TV, I'll watch that. If we're not doing anything, I'll sit there and watch a little bit more. But I definitely got to get to the point where it's like Sundays I watch the Dolphins, and then the rest of the day is me and the wife. Gotta find a happy medium, man.
Yeah, I mean that usually works. Happy wife, happy life, and you definitely got the remedy down. So
Hey,
I
like I said,
definitely
eight years
understand that.
in the making. It didn't come easy.
There you go. Yes, sir. Let's get it, man.
But yeah, man, with that, awesome episode. Appreciate everybody that joins us. Once again, I want to say it, guys, please, if you want us to be able to continue to do what we do and do what we love doing, go like, rate us, subscribe to us, 5 stars, please. We're actually working on trying to get all of our episodes up onto YouTube here soon. So you guys can kind of see what Curtis and I bouncing back and forth, man. You get to see the facial expressions,
Yes,
all that stuff, man.
sir.
But yeah, so we're working on that. But please, go like, subscribe once we get the YouTube stuff up. Rate us 5 stars because we love
Sure.
doing this and we love bringing you guys the content.
Definitely. Yeah, it's something that I look forward to consistently, and we try real hard to bring you guys real good content, content that you don't really find anywhere else. And you get a lot of information here. If you guys listen here, you get a lot of information here first, and that's not going to stop anytime soon. So you guys tune in, rate us 5 stars, like, subscribe. I mean that you want to get that notification when our podcasts pop up. Be one of the first people on the TL. Everybody want to have the source. Go ahead, get it first.
This
Pop
is
up
the
on the
source.
TL. Right. This is the source. You know what I'm saying? Pop out on the TL with the info that we drop. Y'all go show love. This Varsity. Let's get out of here.
Signing off.